Shared stories to new ideas. You've come to the right place.
The Morning News with Gord Gillies and Sue DL on 770 CHQR. Brought to you by CCI Wireless.
This studio has never looked so good as I mentioned earlier. This is sort of a good news, sad news story, because the good news is I've got three beautiful ladies that joining me here in studio today. The royalty from the Calgary Stampede. The sad news is their term is coming to a close, and the search is on. We're looking to encourage some young horsewomen out there to apply before August the 24th, because if you would like to become the Calgary Stampede Queen or a Calgary Stampede Princess, that is fast approaching. Let's welcome to the studios here at 770 CHQR Queen Lindsay Lockwood and the two princesses, Jaden Holle and Jessica Wilson. We'll start with you, Lindsay. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am excellent. Thank you very much. Give me quickly the Lindsay Lockwood story. How did you become the queen of the Calgary Stampede?
Well, it's been a lifelong dream of mine, really. I grew up in the city, and I grew up seeing the Calgary Stampede royalty and how they impacted our community. So it's really something that I wanted to do forever. So I went through the application process last summer. I guess I started in August, and then the contest ran through September. And I was crowned with these two great gals, and we've had a really good year together. Lots of fun, lots of laughs.
I think that's fantastic. Jaden, what's your story?
I have actually a similar story to Lindsay. I am from High River, and I can remember being a young girl and seeing the royal trio ride their horses in one of our parades, and I think that's kind of where the dream started. And as I got older, I kind of looked into what it is that the royalty actually does. And it seemed like one of those dreams that seemed feasible for me to chase after as a young woman. So here I am now.
And Jessica, are you a Calgarian, or are you from a rural community as well?
I am from Calgary, born and raised.
Born and raised in Calgary. Why did you want to become a queen or princess?
Well, it seems like we all have a fairly similar story. But I had also grown up watching the royalty in the parade, the Calgary Stampede parade, and I knew that I'd always wanted to be a part of the Calgary Stampede. I just didn't know exactly how. And then I actually had two friends that I worked with that were past royalty that were very encouraging for me to run. And so here we are.
So Lindsay, maybe talk a little bit about the application process, because this is not a beauty pageant. We're not talking about bikinis or anything like
Absolutely
that.
Not.
Absolutely not.
No bikinis required.
No, exactly. So with the application process, if there are some young ladies, listening in, what is the process? What do you have to go through?
First of all, if there is anyone listening that is even a little bit interested, I really encourage you to look into it. Check out the website, look at the requirements. Applications can be found online. They will be on our website. If you just Google Stampede Royalty, Queen and Princesses, they will be on the website. Those need to be completed and submitted by August 24th. And with that, there is a requirement, a riding requirement. So you'll need to have either a trainer sign off and say that you're a safe and competent rider, or send in a video along with a short piece about why you want to do this. And then the first meeting, I believe, is at the end of the month, end of August. And then the actual contest begins, and it will run the full month of September. It will include various events, riding competitions, speech competition, and a few other surprises along the way.
So a riding competition, Jaden, expand on that. How good of a rider do you have to be?
Well, the most important thing is that you're safe. So we do have some training through the year, but there are 3 different riding components within the competition. And so we do a reining pattern that we're required to memorize, that we're given a little bit ahead of time. And so each of us do a pattern on a horse that is provided to us.
Okay.
And we also do a little bit of rail work. So walk, trot, lope on the rail, and there's judges watching the whole thing. So I would say if you've grown up riding, you probably can. This is something you could do.
So is it you have to be the Western saddle, not no side saddles, not equestrian, Jessica, or anything like that. You got to be Western, right?
Yeah, it is all in a Western saddle.
However,
yeah, Jess.
I am a show jumper, so I did come from.
So you did come from equestrian background.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
She's a cowgirl now. We've converted her.
They've changed me.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Lindsay, talk about the year, because there are so many commitments and I believe lots of fun commitments, but it's a busy commitment, isn't it?
Yes, it's a very busy year. The three of us, by the end of this, will have done about 400 events. 400 in the year.
Wow.
And about 200 of those were during the 10 days of the Calgary Stampede.
That's a busy 10 days.
It's a very heavy 10 days. Stampede is kind of in a league of its own, but it is important to emphasize that this is a full year commitment. And it's a fantastic year. So many opportunities to grow and to learn and to meet people, but it is a large time commitment. Lots of travel. Yeah, so worth it. We've traveled, and we went to Berlin this year. That's kind of become an annual trip, although every year is a bit different with the places that the girls get to travel to.
Nice.
But Germany was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, I'm on Facebook Live right now. Do you get to keep the hat at least, Jane?
Yeah, we do. We have a lot of great sponsors, so we do get to keep not only the hat, but all of the clothes we get through the year. Just the crown we'll be passing on to the next girls.
Well, and it's a year commitment, as you say, 400 events, and you have to take time away from your busy lives, obviously, from that standpoint, Jessica. So, is there monetary value to this? Did you get paid at all, or no?
It is a volunteer position,
Okay.
so we came into this year with the understanding that we were volunteering all of our time.
Right.
They do compensate us with an honorarium,
Okay.
Just to cover expenses like gas. But it is a volunteer position. We call ourselves professional volunteers.
But the experiences that we get are just invaluable, and it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, and we get that it is a big commitment, but I wouldn't trade this year for anything.
No,
What did you guys go to Berlin for?
We were in Berlin for, we went with Destination Canada, actually. Okay. It was an international travel conference. So we were there on behalf of Canada and Alberta, the city of Calgary, and of course the Calgary Stampede, to kind of spread our history and our way of life and Western values and that real sense of hospitality that people say they feel when they come to our city. The goal was to share that with people that we met in Germany.
Okay, great. We got to take a quick break for traffic. I want to come back and wrap things up with a few questions for the queen of the Calgary Stampede, Lindsay Lockwood, and the two princesses are in the house as well, Jaden, Holle, and Jessica Wilson. This is the Morning News. This is 770 CHQR.
in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops.
Ladies are dancing on Facebook Live for us. And Stampede Queen Lindsay Lockwood said you could do the optimistic weather report. Do you want to do the optimistic weather report for me, Lindsay?
Sure. It's looking very hot today. It's also not snowing, so we're feeling pretty good.
That's the optimistic weather report. Fantastic.
Very optimistic.
I do want to remind anybody, if maybe you have a daughter, maybe you're a young lady listening into the program this morning, August the 24th, that is the deadline. If you would like to take over for these ladies as a queen or a princess of the Calgary Stampede, check out the website, as Lindsay was talking about earlier. And who knows, maybe you will be representing the Calgary Stampede, the city of Calgary, at over 400 events throughout the world. Jaden, let me ask you this. What advice would you have for a young lady that would be thinking of going down this route?
Go for it would be my first thing. I know that the competition process can be very intimidating, but I would say just do it. And for me, when I was running, it was helpful to get on as many different horses as possible, just the practical things. And we also answered a lot of impromptu questions throughout. So I think just getting in the habit of, hey, mom, hey, friend, ask me a question, and just getting in the habit of thinking on your feet, that was helpful through the competition.
Jessica, what did you find the most rewarding as being a representative of the Calgary Stampede as a princess? Looking back at the last year, what's the most rewarding?
So we got to do a lot of events within the community, and I think I can speak for all of us when I say the most rewarding part of all of that was when we got that one-on-one opportunity to speak with a little girl, and we could just see their faces beaming when they saw us, because we're real-life queen and princesses, and that's all they've ever dreamed of is meeting a queen or a princess, and so it was really cool to experience that.
That's nice. Now, Lindsay, I know you get to go. You get to go to the Calgary, the Grey Cup. And the Calgary Grey Cup Committee took good care of you.
They were so great. What a fun crew.
Too bad the game didn't turn out as good. But.
Yes, that's unfortunate, but
we're looking up.
Yeah, we're staying optimistic. That was a great trip. Lots of fun. That committee gives so much of their time and financially, and they were fun.
Yeah, fun. Exactly right. So before I let you go, ladies, and Lindsay, maybe the last word for you as the queen. I asked Jaden the same question. What advice would you have for a young lady if they are thinking of applying, sending in an application before the 24th?
I think that Jaden did a really good job of kind of covering it, but if this is something that you've even thought about, look into it. There's no harm in looking into it, and the hardest part is throwing your name in the hat. It's intimidating, but I think I found at least that once I was in it with the other girls and in the competition, it's a very supportive environment. Everyone there wants you to succeed and wants you to take something away from it. So I really encourage anyone that's interested or anyone you think might be interested to look into it. It's been a fantastic year for me. I can say that I now have a new family that I love very dearly and who love me very dearly. And yeah, I wouldn't trade this year for anything.
Do you get to go to an alumni night out now? You look back at all of the past queens and the past princesses. Did you join a big club?
Yeah, we do.
Do you?
Yeah. So the Calgary Stampede actually has a Queen's Alumni Committee that works quite closely with the special needs community of Calgary. So the alumni work to put on events that are accessible for that community. Giddy Up Grits at the Calgary Stampede, Aggie Days. They do lots for children specifically.
Ladies, thanks so much for coming in. We're out of time, but I hope it was a good year for you. It sounds like it was a fantastic year, in fact, and it's going to be sad when it all comes to an end, but keep up the great work representing the Calgary Stampede.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Stampede royalty in the house. Queen Lindsay Lockwood, Princess Jaden Holle, and Princess Jessica Wilson. This is the Morning News. This is 770 CHQR.